The judge presiding over former President Donald Trump's civil fraud trial says that Trump's expert witness that he paid nearly $1 million to has no credibility. Eli Bardoff, the New York University accounting professor, had testified on December 7th that he didn't see any evidence of fraud in Trump's family real estate company's financial statement. Nope, none whatsoever. Everything is perfectly, completely above board. Not at all fraudulent. I don't know what you're talking about. Bardoff testified that he had spent 650 hours on the case at a rate of $13.50 per hour. That's $1,350 an hour, totaling around $877,500, courtesy of the Trump Organization and Save America, the political action committee supporting Trump's 2024 election campaign. That said, Judge Engoron didn't buy any of his testimony. He writes, all that his testimony proves is that for $1 million or so, some experts will say whatever you want them to say. Of course, we know. Engoron further writes, by doggedly attempting to justify every misstatement, Professor Bardoff lost all credibility. Well, there it is. Look, for Bardoff, on his part, he said Engoron was wrong to say that the overarching point of his testimony was that Trump's statements were, quote, accurate in every respect. No expert rebutted my testimony or testified that they found fraud. Well, they didn't have to. This trial wasn't about proving fraud because the fraud was already proven. It had already been ruled upon that Trump had done fraud. The judge ruled that Trump and his adult sons manipulated financial statements so that they could get bigger loans with more favorable loan terms. I mean, they duped insurance companies. They duped banks. It's already been ruled upon. Trump's team, though, spent the entire trial claiming, no, it was a political hit job. Trump didn't do anything wrong. There was no fraud. Everything is 100% subjective on these things, that there's no material information that was inaccurate, and that if there were inaccuracies anywhere, they were inadvertent. You know, apparently inadvertent, and they didn't mean to do it, but again, it's all subjective, so it doesn't matter anyway. Now, in his 3-page written ruling, Engoron acknowledged that portion of the defense's argument about subjective property valuations, because, yes, they're not going to be 100% exact, obviously, but noted that Trump's statements were replete with examples of material misstatements. A lie is still a lie, Engoron wrote. In his email, Bardoff concluded, though, by saying, as to a speculation that my billing rate had anything to do with my opinion, this is my standard billing rate. Wait, all that tells me is that you have a price. Pay me this much and I'll say whatever you want. Well, okay, at my standard rate? Which, no, it was actually more, about $300 million more than we thought you were getting paid back in July that you had reported. But hey, congratulations, Eli. You have earned your pay. No matter what happens, you're going to have a good day heading off to the bank, all right? And who knows, maybe this will open up more doors of opportunity for anybody who can afford to pay your price, which I'm sure now will likely go up. You know, now that you've shown that you could be counted on to do a job well done, to say exactly what, the defense wants you to say. One last thing, Bardoff and Trump's team argued that the disclaimers on Trump's financial statements shielded him from responsibility. Now, Engoron said, no, it might actually do the opposite here. Now, why do I say that, or why does he say that? Putting a disclaimer in is essentially admitting that the statements aren't going to be accurate. Now, wait a minute, you would think that it kind of seems like a good idea. And yeah, it can, because mistakes do happen. And so if you do put a disclaimer on saying, hey, these are not going to be like accurate down to the penny, sure, that makes sense. That said, when you're looking at the brazenness of the valuations from Trump in these statements, no, it kind of destroys your own point. I mean, I'll give you an example, okay? The 10,000 square foot or 11,000 square foot penthouse that Trump claimed was 3 times the size and therefore 3 times the value. Seems a bit more like an oversight. And you can kind of step into it and realize, hey, this isn't 30,000 feet. Another example of this is a skyscraper at 40 Wall Street. The Trump organization overstated the property's value by nearly $200 million. In 2015, Trump's statement of financial condition put the value at $735.4 million. The problem is that the company had received an appraisal that same year saying the building was actually worth $540 million. As I said, of course, we know that appraisals and valuations, yes, are a bit subjective, and you might think, wait a minute, I own this building, I think it should be worth more. Okay, sure, I get that feeling, but almost worth half the entire value more? No. Again, I understand that you could be lowballed, right, when it comes to an appraisal. And so you might think, you say it's worth $540 million. I think it's worth more 560 or 570, right? So, because I did this and I did that, and that's going to be worth a little bit more. But not $200 million more. No way. So again, those are the facts from the case, right? And it's already been decided. And nothing Engoron has said isn't outrageous or unreasonable, okay? It's already been decided that there is fraud here. And so pointing out the shady payments, again, I understand that witnesses do get paid for their work in these cases, but just the fact that he got paid so much more than what he previously reported being paid, like $300 million more. I know Trump likes inflating numbers, but wow, that's quite the inflation that has helped Mr. Eli Bardov's bank account to say everything that Trump in the defense, his lawyers wanted him to say. That doesn't strike you as a bit, I don't know, suspicious? I don't know what else to say. But what I do know is, look, I think it's pretty obvious, at least to me, Donald Trump's a lifelong crook. And this case, among many of the others, it just seems like it's his lifetime of crookery, if that's even a word, is starting to catch up to him.